Building strong relationships, expert insights on fostering deep, lasting bonds. Building strong relationships is one of life's greatest rewards. Whether it's with a romantic partner, close friend, family members, or colleagues, the ability to connect with others on a deep, meaningful level can be transformative. But what are the key ingredients for creating relationships that truly stand the test of time? Psychologists have long studied the dynamics of human connection and have identified several foundational strategies that can help us form lasting, resilient relationships. In this blog, we will explore these strategies in depth, providing practical advice and psychological insights into what makes relationships thrive.
1.
Prioritize communication with empathy, the key to deep understanding. At the core of any strong relationship lies effective communication. Yet many people think communication is simply about talking. However, the true magic happens when you learn to listen, not just with your ears, but with your heart. This is where empathy comes in, and it's a cornerstone of meaningful connections. Empathy, in its simplest form, means understanding and sharing the feelings of another person. It's about putting yourself in someone else's shoes, feeling what they feel, and responding in ways that show you genuinely understand their emotional state. Why empathy is so crucial. Empathy is the oil that keeps the gears of a relationship moving smoothly. Without it, we might hear what someone is saying, but we fail to fully understand the emotional weight behind their words. When people feel heard and understood, trust grows and emotional intimacy develops. Moreover, empathy fosters emotional regulation. When we listen empathetically, we can help the other person feel less alone in their struggles, allowing them to express themselves without fear of judgment. This creates a safe space for both people to share their deepest feelings. How to practice empathy in everyday interactions. Active listening. Active listening means more than just hearing words. It means engaging with what the other person is saying. To do this, maintain eye contact, nod occasionally, and refrain from interrupting. Summarize what the person has said to show that you're truly engaged. Phrases like, "I hear you," or "that sounds really tough," can validate their feelings. Nonverbal cues. Communication isn't just verbal. Our body language communicates volumes. When you're empathetic, your body language reflects openness and attentiveness. Avoid crossing your arms or looking distracted. Instead, try leaning in slightly and keeping a relaxed posture. A gentle touch on the shoulder or a comforting hug can convey empathy in powerful ways. Reflective responses. One of the best ways to demonstrate empathy is by reflecting on what the person has shared, whether it's an emotion, a problem, or a situation. For example, saying, "It sounds like you're feeling overwhelmed with your responsibilities at work," shows that you're not only listening, but also emotionally connecting with their experience. This lets the other person know they're seen and understood. Empathy, when practiced consistently, can transform the nature of your relationships. By prioritizing empathetic communication, you'll foster deeper connections where both parties feel respected, valued, and supported. 2. Build trust through consistency and reliability. The foundation of stability. Trust is the backbone of any strong relationship. Without it, relationships tend to falter under the weight of insecurity, doubt, and miscommunication. What's remarkable is that trust is not something you can demand. It is earned, gradually, through consistent actions that demonstrate reliability and honesty. Why consistency is key. Trust is built on the idea that your actions align with your words. When people consistently show up for each other, keep promises, and act with integrity, they build a strong sense of reliability. In contrast, when words and actions don't match up, trust erodes and doubt creeps in. Think about a relationship in which a partner or friend repeatedly cancels plans at the last minute. Over time, even small breaks in trust can create distance. In contrast, when someone shows up on time, follows through on commitments, and is consistent in their actions, they communicate stability and reliability. How to build trust. Follow through on promises. One of the simplest ways to build trust is by doing what you say you will do. Whether it's picking up groceries for a partner, showing up to a meeting with a colleague, or simply being on time, consistency in your actions shows that you can be relied upon. Be transparent and honest. Transparency fosters trust because it minimizes the chance of miscommunication or hidden agendas. If you are feeling overwhelmed or if there's something you're struggling with, don't be afraid to open up. Being honest about your needs, boundaries, or vulnerabilities helps others feel like they can be honest with you in return. Own up to mistakes. Nobody is perfect. If you make a mistake, owning it is one of the best ways to demonstrate trustworthiness. Saying, "I made an error and I'm sorry for it," shows accountability. Furthermore, it strengthens the relationship by signaling that the relationship matters more than your ego. They have a label in times of need. When things are tough, showing up consistently is vital. If your friend is going through a difficult time or your partner faces a personal challenge, offering your support, not just in words, but in action, helps to reinforce the trust you've built together. When you become a reliable presence in someone's life, you create a stable foundation on which the relationship can grow. Trust built on consistency and reliability acts as a safety net in times of conflict or uncertainty, making it easier to work through challenges together. 3. Embrace vulnerability, the power of showing your true self. Vulnerability is often seen as a weakness, but psychologists believe it is one of the most powerful tools for fostering deep emotional connections. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, we let others see the real us, the imperfect, raw, and unfiltered parts that we usually keep hidden. Why vulnerability fosters connection? Vulnerability is essential because it invites the other person into your emotional world. When you share your fears, dreams, and personal struggles, you allow someone to see who you truly are. This act of opening up invites the same openness in return. Vulnerability is, in many ways, the emotional glue that bonds people together because it shows that you trust the other person enough to expose yourself authentically. Additionally, vulnerability fosters emotional intimacy. It's one thing to know someone's favorite color or what they do for a living, but it's another thing to know their insecurities, past hurts, and deepest desires. Sharing these parts of yourself creates a deeper connection and understanding. How to cultivate vulnerability. Be open about your emotions. Instead of bottling up your feelings, allow yourself to express them. Whether you're feeling joy, sadness, or fear, let others know. For example, telling a partner, "I feel anxious about this big presentation tomorrow," helps them understand your emotional state and shows them that you trust them to listen. Share personal stories. Sharing your experiences, especially the challenging or difficult ones, can create a powerful bond. Talk about your past struggles, your regrets, or what you've learned from failures. When you show your true self, you make it easier for others to feel safe doing the same. Be comfortable with imperfection. Embrace the fact that you are not perfect. Nobody is. Relationships thrive when both individuals allow each other to show their flaws. Embracing imperfection, rather than hiding it, makes the relationship more authentic and meaningful. Vulnerability is an ongoing process, but the rewards are immense. It's the difference between a surface-level connection and a deeply intimate bond that can withstand the ups and downs of life. 4. Foster mutual respect. A pillar for long-term success. Respect is a fundamental building block of any successful relationship. Mutual respect means honoring each other's boundaries, valuing their opinions, and accepting them as they are. Without respect, relationships can become strained or even toxic. Why mutual respect matters. When people feel respected, they feel safe, valued, and understood. This contributes to emotional security and self-esteem, which are crucial for maintaining healthy relationships. In contrast, disrespect can lead to resentment, bitterness, and a breakdown in communication. How to cultivate respect. Honor boundaries. Whether physical or emotional, respecting your partner's or friend's boundaries is vital. Always ask for consent and avoid pushing someone to share or do something they are not comfortable with. Value each other's opinions. Even if you disagree with someone, it's important to acknowledge their point of view. Healthy relationships thrive when both individuals feel that their thoughts and feelings are taken seriously. Practice kindness and gratitude. Small gestures of kindness can go a long way in fostering respect. A simple thank you, a compliment, or a gesture of appreciation can make the other person feel valued. Conclusion. Strengthening relationships through intentional effort. Building the strongest relationships is not about grand gestures or overnight successes. It's about consistent, intentional effort and creating an environment of trust, empathy, and respect. By focusing on empathetic communication, being dependable, embracing vulnerability, and practicing mutual respect, we create a foundation where relationships can flourish. Remember that relationships are an ongoing journey of growth, understanding, and support. With patience, dedication, and these psychological principles, you can build relationships that not only endure but thrive through life's challenges. These are the keys to deep, lasting, and fulfilling connections that enrich our lives.